What is going on, YouTube? Joe here with Color Nation Media, bringing you yet another episode. Oh, it's not an episode, it's a battle. What am I doing? I do this all the time. Welcome to another Pokemon X and Y Wi-Fi battle. That is what I meant to say. I apologize. But, yeah, okay. So, our opponent today is going to be Gregory, who appears as a female on here, but is indeed a male in real life. How about that? I'm going to leave his Twitter link in the description below so you guys can check him out if you would like to. And before we get into the teams today, just want to remind you guys that as long as this video reaches that magical number of 50 likes, we're going to continue those double daily Wi-Fi battle uploads for you guys and all that fun stuff. Now today, we have an underused match, as you can tell. We all have underused Pokemon, and by we all, I mean the two of us. Us two battling those guys. So we have Bastiodon, Cinccino Slowking, Yanmega Eelektross, and Drapion on my opponent's side. On my side, again, there's no Megas in this battle either. On my side, I got Electabuzz, Crobat again, Claydol again, Tauros, Arcanine, and Serperior. So, you know, the Crobat and the Claydol I've been using a lot lately. So, get used to seeing that, because quite a few of the battles that I have coming up, even later this week, are going to include the two of them, because I don't know, apparently I just like to use them a lot this last week. They worked out well for me, so that's all I can say. They're just definitely underrated Pokemon. So I'm going to start off with my Electabuzz, because this thing is Scarfed, and why not? It makes for a great lead. He doesn't have anything that can absorb an electric-type hit too well, or at least be immune to it, so he starts off with Bastiodon. He's going to have to take that Volt Switch. He takes it very nicely. I'm going to go into Claydol, predicting that he's going to start setting up hazards, such as the Stealth Rock, and that is indeed what he does. So that is fine by me. I have the type advantage, because Earthquake is going to be ×4 effective against this Bastiodon. He can't really do too much back to me. So first things first, I'm going to Rapid Spin, and get rid of those rocks, and force him to have to set it up again. He is indeed going to go for the Toxic, which is a great move for Bastiodon to have. And I really haven't fought a Bastiodon in a long time, and I don't know what it really does this generation other than Metal Burst and Stealth Rock. So I'm a little bit in the dark here, and just kind of taking things one step at a time. I'm going to go for the Stealth Rocks, you know, get my rocks up on his side of the field, break any Focus Sashes and all that stuff. He's going to go for the Roar here. And I thought that was kind of strange. Maybe he didn't want to take the Earthquake. But I'm not sure why you would go for Toxic, which does more damage as the turns build up, and then just roar me out. He could very well have been afraid of the Earthquake, though, as I said. So I'm going to go for the Volt Switch again as the Electabuzz comes in via the Roar. And I'm not sure what he's going to go for this time. Maybe set up the rocks again, but I'm going to go right back into Claydol. And that is indeed what he does. So I'm not having any of these rocks up on my side of the field. I'm not interested in your rocks, my friend. Don't want any of that. So I'm going to take the Toxic damage. I'm going to take the Leftovers recovery. Not take it, but just recover my HP from it. And that is that. So we're pretty much back in the same position that we were in before. And this time he's going to withdraw his Bastiodon. He's in a bad position here. He can't do too much to me. And he's going to switch into his Eelektross. And I'm going to Rapid Spin. He also doesn't have any spin blockers, I don't believe. If I'm remembering correctly what's on his team, he does not have any Ghost types. So that is a little bit of a problem as far as blocking the Rapid Spin. So his rocks are gone again, which is great for me. Can't really do anything to this Eelektross, though, because it does have Levitate. I cannot Earthquake it, even though that would be super effective if it weren't for that pesky Levitate. I also have Ice Beam, but that really wouldn't do too much. It's not a stab move, it's not super effective, so not really worth it. Going to switch in Frank here, predicting the Giga Drain, and that is indeed what he goes for. So that really doesn't do that much damage at all. For the most part, Frank is a, physical wall because of the Intimidate. It also has the Rocky Helmet, so that's usually what I used it for, but the Giga Drain was pretty obvious there, so that's why I switched it in. He is indeed going to bring in the Slowking here, and he comes in on the Flare Blitz, and most of the time, Slowking, just is invested in its special defense, and is a little bit unfortunate that he gets burned here because Flare Blitz really doesn't do that much damage. It is a resisted hit, but it does get him down to 50% before the berry. So So he has Citrus Berry, Slowking, very interesting, and with Regenerator as well. So if he switches out here, he's going to be back at full health, and that is unfortunate. I'm predicting a Scald, though, so I'm going to go into Superior. If he gets the burn, so be it, because I do have the Lumberry, and that is fine. I really just take that hit pretty nicely, to be honest. He does get the burn on the first turn, though. That kind of sucks, but who am I to complain after he got burned on a Flare Blitz? I really cannot complain whatsoever. So he's going to get hurt by his burn. I'm going to heal off mine with that Lumberry. Now he's going to switch out because he doesn't know what I'm going to do, and he has a type disadvantage here. So he's going to go into Snipes, which is his shiny Drapion. And I went for the knockoff there, so we're going to get rid of whatever he's holding, which is usually the Black Sludge, but it turns out that this one is carrying the Scope Lens, so he's probably Sniper. And that is just really, really scary. Sniper with Scope Lens. Super scary. So I switch in Frank here to get the Intimidate off. And he's actually going to go for the Swords Dance, so he's going to be at +1, all things considered. And he's probably just going to go for a knockoff here. That's what most of these things do. I stayed in, though, to go for the Morning Sun, thinking I would survive it. And then get my health back, and then he'd have to take Rocky Helmet damage. But he just straight up KOs me, which is impressive because he's only at +1. But, I mean, he gets the boost from the knockoff and all that stuff, which is just crazy. Crazy powerful. So I bring in Tauros to go for that Life Orb, Sheer Force, Rock Climb, Stab, all that stuff. It does so much damage, except for the fact that it misses. It was going to do so much damage, but it misses. And he gets the knockoff off. And there goes my Life Orb, and I'm down to a pretty pitiful health. He's going to switch into Bastiodon here on the Rock Climb, and that really doesn't take any damage whatsoever. So I'm in a pretty bad position here. Pretty bad position. I can go for the Earthquake, and that is what I'm going to do. If he gets the Metal Burst off, I am as good as dead. But I'm going to get a crit. So that is very unfortunate. I did calc that, and without the Life Orb, that was not going to be a one-hit KO. He definitely would have survived and killed off Tauros. So that is a bit unfortunate for him, but I guess it didn't really matter too much because I could have easily come in and then just revenged the Bastiodon, and then we'd be kind of just back where we were before. So regardless, he's going to bring in his Chinchino and kills me off with a Bullet Seed. There's no reason for me to switch there and risk taking, unnecessary damage on something. I guess I could have switched in Crobat, but I didn't know what move he was going to go for. And he has pretty decent coverage with the Bullet Seed and the Rock Blast and Tail Slap and all that stuff. So I bring in the Crobat, go for the U-turn. I'm going to switch into Claydol, baiting the Rock Blast. And that is indeed what he's going to do. With that Bastiodon gone, I really don't need this Claydol for anything. I have rocks up on his side of the field. He doesn't have any way to get rid of them. And it doesn't look like he has any other hazard setters on his side either. So I don't have to worry about the Stealth Rocks, and I'm just in good shape. And I tank those Rock Blasts surprisingly well, all 5 of them. And, that's pretty good. He's going to go for the Bullet Seed here, though, and I kind of expected that. And it looks like from that range that I could potentially survive, or at least it would be close. Because with 3 hits, I'm down to 42 HP. 4 hits down to 16 HP, and nope, he does in fact kill me. Doesn't require any crits. But that was pretty close. I was pretty close to surviving that, and without the toxic damage from the turn before, I think I may have actually survived that. But that's besides the point. I'm going to go into Crobat again here, and I can unleash a Brave Bird to do massive damage on something. That is a definite possibility here, and that is indeed what I go for. I could have just went for the U-turn predicting the switch, but I didn't have anything that wanted to take more Tail Slaps, Rock Blast, Bullet Seeds, that kind of stuff. So I pretty much had to go for the Brave Bird there. He brings in the Electros to take it, and it takes it kinda, sorta okay. It does a good, like, 40%. And the next turn I'm going to go for the U-turn, which gets him down to about 30% of his HP remaining. So that is great for me. This thing is definitely worn down just in a matter of 2 turns. So I'm going to go into Superior, predicting an Electric-type move. He does, in fact, go for the Thunderbolt, and I can take that kinda, sorta okay. And I'm down to about 40% of my health remaining. Going to hit him up with a Leaf Blade here because I very easily outspeed. Electros doesn't carry any kind of priority or anything like that, so it's just going to die to that Leaf Blade. In comes the Yanmega. and it's going to get annihilated by the Stealth Rocks. That is very unfortunate because Yanmega is such a powerful Pokemon. Most of the time, from what I've seen, they're either Life Orb or Specs. And with the Tinted Lens, it just does so much damage. So he goes for the Air Slash, and that does a good, like, 60%, even with the Black Sludge recovery. So that is a bit of a problem. But thankfully, I do outspeed. And this Brave Bird is going to finish off this Yanmega. So that is a huge threat out of the way. That is definitely his most powerful special attacker. And I don't know if I got the chance to ask him if it was Specs or anything like that. I guess it didn't really matter. But I was just curious as to what set he was running. Anyway, he's going to bring in his Snipes here again. And this thing is just a huge problem for me. Just a massive problem. I don't really have anything that can take care of it. But it is kind of worn down. So that is great. At full health, this thing is such a problem. But I am able to go for the Brave Bird. And that does finish it off, thankfully. Because if it didn't, I would have been in some trouble. So Crobat is definitely doing a number to this team. Definitely, definitely. So with the Drapion down, he's going to go into his Burn Slowking, which is back pretty much up to full health due to the Regenerator. And now I'm going to go for the U-turn, get some more super effective damage on this thing, which is fantastic for me. Going to switch out. That is a bad matchup for me anyway. Scald would have killed me, so would a Psyshock. So I'm going to go into Superior to take the hit because I know I can outspeed the next turn and kill him off. He's going to go for the Psyshock, and that gets me down to like 31 HP. Is that what I saw? Something like that. I'm just going to go for the knockoff here. I wasn't sure if he was going to switch out or not. The knockoff actually doesn't kill, so that is kind of silly. I probably should have just went for the Leaf Blade. I don't know why I was predicting them to switch out. That was kind of silly on my part. And the burn damage is going to kill him off anyway, but I didn't really need to lose Superior that turn, so that was kind of silly on my part. Out comes the Crobat yet again, and he really doesn't have anything that he can do to this thing. For some reason, during the match, I thought that this Cinccino was Choice Scarfed, so I thought it was just, I don't know, crazy fast or something, and it does outspeed the Crobat, but that's only because, like I mentioned before, that it has the HP investment. It's not max speed or anything like that. So, and this kind of threw me off, and I was like, oh my goodness, it is Scarfed. That's ridiculous, but it's not Scarfed, it's King's Rock, and that is the typical set that's run by these things, but I don't know why I was afraid of it using, or not using, but being Scarfed when we saw it change moves earlier in the match. I don't know what I was thinking, but Electabuzz comes in, finishes things off with a Thunderbolt, so that is great. That is going to be the match, so that was, in fact, a 1-0, I believe, because Claydol died, Crobat went down. Yep, that is indeed going to be a 1-0, so definitely a close match. If it was Scarfed, that would have been a bit of a problem, because then it would have outsped my Electabuzz, because I believe Cinccino has, like, base 115 speed? Something like that, like 110, 115. Electabuzz has less than that, maybe 95, somewhere around that range. But I know it's definitely slower, so things could have been a little bit different there. But anyway, definitely a great match. Awesome to see some of these Pokemon in action. It was the first time I used a Tauros competitively, so that was cool. And I definitely hope that it can do some more work in some of the later battles. Later battles? I don't know what I'm talking about. I did use him in battles after this, and he did do more work, which is what I was hoping for. And that's what I was trying to say, but again, my brain is like, nope, you're not going to say that. You're not going to say what you want. I swear, my brain works against me sometimes. But that's going to be it for this time, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, do not forget to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, because it does help out a lot. And do not forget to also check out our opponent in the description below. Feel free to ask him for a battle or advice or whatever you want to do. That's what it's there for. So that's that, and I will see you guys for the next battle. But until then, game on.